let's change the transition into the dating world, being single, a relationship. Are you currently in a relationship? Are you dating somebody?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so you're a single person right now. You were in a relationship before. I recently got out of an 11-year relationship. And so how do you navigate your entire body of work when you meet someone now? It's not.
Is it true that drug-free lifters have a shorter window of building muscle during the recovery phase than enhanced lifters, and that this is why trying each muscle group once per week is common amongst steroid users, or how does that work?
So yeah, steroids prolong the period in which you get a stimulus from training, and they also allow you to get a greater stimulus from training. So especially for natural lifters, training once per week is stupid. For enhanced lifters, it's still stupid. You should be training more than, once per week, or training each body part more than once per week. But yeah, steroids do prolong the period in which you build muscle after training. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Cali Muscle.
Not going to take long for them to Google your name and see you've been a nude model and you've done certain things. And how do you navigate that? I know for myself, you type my name in, it's like steroid sales guy. He was arrested as a criminal record. And so you have your past all out there in the open. People make fun of you. They use it to hurt you.
Dude, that hair transplant has not been working out for him. Why did he even get that done? Like, his hairline was fine before. Now it's just fucked.
I did it every single day. You're a bad person because what you did 12 years ago. How do you navigate that? And is that going to affect you in trying to look for someone in a relationship, or are you just done with it?
Right now, I'm just focusing on me and my son. I think that's important. But when it comes to dating and...
So she's like a 40-year-old woman who has a child and she used to do sex work. Wouldn't say this is exactly what you'd call a high-value woman.
With, your past, I think a secure...
I love how Greg didn't edit the audio in this video, so her mic is like way fucking higher.
You gotta find someone secure, and that has good communication style, because then you can really talk about your past with them and just throw it all on the table and be like, this is my past. That's not who I am now. This is who I am now. Take it or leave it. I think you just have to address it.
I absolutely think that's great advice. Find someone who has a secure attachment style. If you find someone with an anxious attachment style, they're probably going to be jealous. They've seen what you've done. If they have an avoidance attachment style, well, they're probably never going to want to be with you anyway.
Yeah.
And really good book I'd recommend is Hold Me Tight. It's a kind of an extension of Attached. It'll tell you how to communicate, as you said, is so important. And it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. The medium is the message. I think if you read that book and apply it and get your partner to read it, and if they don't want to read it, well, you say next. Like, think of it. You could date thousands, millions of men. They're going to be interested in you. And so why date the losers? You can literally filter it out to the top guys that would actually care for you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think dating these days can be scary. I don't see a lot of men or women working on themselves daily, mental mindset. So I don't know. I'm not ready for that yet.
Now, once you are ready to date people, would you ever ask a man out, or is that the man's job? I know that 84% of women want men to make the first move, but a lot of guys would prefer if a woman did. And so what do you think of a woman saying, you are who I want, and I'm going to ask you out? I don't need to be the woman sitting back and peacocking, saying, please message me. What do you think of that?
I think nowadays, I'm really seeing how women being too masculine and their masculine can really just not work out. So I think it's okay for a woman to flirt and show like, hey, I'm interested. But it's up to him to make that next step. She can flirt and let him know, hey, I'm interested, But at the end of the day, he needs to be the leader and make that next step.
You're speaking about masculine and feminine energy, basically, how we need these polar opposites attract each other. I find...
So weird hearing you tell Poop Pants Guy that he should have spoken against the Holocaust when you've spent the past 6 months advocating for a genocide to continue by regurgitating the talking points of the perpetrators. Alex is a hypocrite, but so are you, Zootsie.
There is no genocide going on in Gaza. You haven't been able to show me any evidence of that other than cherry-picking footage where you do not understand any fucking context of what's going on. Thanks for the donation, Quest.
With today's world and society, there's such an emphasis on women and men being equal. You both need to go to school. You both need to get a job. You both need to get a career. Go, 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 go. It's almost as if men and women are competing against each other versus complementing each other. What could you say to that? What do you think about a man and woman dating with somebody who's making a lot of money, for example? Is that going to be intimidating? I mean, obviously, you're doing exceptionally well financially. Could you date a man that doesn't make money? Would that be okay? Would that be disempowering to him? How would you handle that?
I have. And at the time, I didn't think anything of that. I was like, it's fine. I love him for him. It's fine. But as time goes on and the woman still has to step up and pay a lot of the bills, most of them, you know, maybe it's not 50-50 anymore. Maybe she's feeling like she's pulling more, then it can cause some resentment for a woman. So I think it's important you both to be at least on the same level in some sort. And if he doesn't make any money, then maybe you shouldn't be dating a high value woman. You know, if you can't step up to the plate and be 50-50 at least.
Mm-hmm. Now, you bring up high value woman. I've heard this debated as to what is that in your own mind. What is a high value woman and what would be a high value man? What is the difference? What are we looking for? Is it the same? Is there huge differences? Let's start with what is a high value woman? If I'm
the red pill definition of a high value woman is a 14-year-old that you can groom who's had no sexual partners and is willing to be your slave. The less fucking insane definition of a high value woman is probably woman in her early to mid 20s who again has had few to no sexual partners and again is basically just going to be your maid, who doesn't talk back, just listens to everything you say, and basically is your mom that you have sex with.
I'm looking for a high value woman. What should I be looking for?
I think she's a secure attachment. She doesn't necessarily need anyone, but she wants a man in her life that she...
The cunt from Libs of TikTok's a fucking terrorist. Check out what she has been radicalizing her base to do to Pussy Fitness BC. They are pro-LGBTQIA+.
Let's see. Bomb threats follow Libs of TikTok's campaign against Planet Fitness. Just, like, why? In early March, the account Libs of TikTok initiated an ongoing campaign against Planet Fitness, demanding a boycott and retaliation for the gym's trans-inclusive locker room policy. Although the company's share price appears to have largely recovered, at least 28 locations of Planet Fitness have reported hoax bomb threats in recent weeks, continuing what has become a trend of violent threats against institutions targeted by the account. Libs of TikTok's campaign against Planet Fitness began after a member of the gym's Fairbank, Alaska location reached out with a complaint about a man shaving in a woman's bathroom. March 11th, Libs of TikTok shared a video of a customer complaining that there had been a man shaving in a woman's bathroom of her Planet Fitness location. The post also included a photo of the person. Do they have a link to this? Okay, that is really fucking weird. That is a man. Woman in Planet Fitness claims she went into the bathroom. This man who thinks he's a woman was in there shaving. Why does Planet Fitness allow men? Yeah, that's just a dude. March 12th, Libs of TikTok shared screenshots of an email exchange between the customer and Planet Fitness in which the gym responded to the complaint by restating its trans-inclusive locker room policy. Want to reach out in regards to your recent survey about your experience at our Appleton East Planet Fitness. All members, including transgender members, may use Planet Fitness. Well, that's just a dude. Libs of TikTok posted a video of the same customer claiming that her membership had been revoked. That is just a dude, okay? I don't care if this person claims they're trans. They're not. Maybe they're right at the start of their transition, but, like, that's a dude. Libs of TikTok posted screenshots of Planet Fitness trans-inclusive changing room policy and called for a boycott of the gym. Like, the problem I see here is that that was a dude in the change room. As the post gained viral traction, Planet Fitness released a statement reiterating the gym's trans-inclusive policy and urging staff to address discomfort and foster a climate of understanding. Jim also clarified that the member who posted on social media violated a mobile device policy that prohibits taking photos of individuals in the locker room, which resulted in their membership termination. I mean...
Just to be clear, when the ICJ issues interim orders during a genocide case, not once, but twice now after things have worsened, you say 16 judges appointed from around the world voted with no evidence. That's your position? They just did it for funsies?
So they said it's plausible. That's all they said. And the only evidence they had in support of this claim were what were mostly out of context quotes from a bunch of Israeli leaders. There were literally only two quotes that, if you actually look them up, were sus and inappropriate. And one of those people were fired. So yeah, so literally you're claiming two inappropriate quotes from Israeli leaders is proof that a genocide is going on. And one of those people were actually fired. I don't consider that evidence of a fucking genocide. And again, the ICJ ruling was only that it's plausible. So the standard of proof for plausibility is extremely, extremely low. Thanks for the donation, Quest. Yeah, so Libs of TikTok, her whole fan base is, far-right wackos. Calling in bomb threats to Planet Fitness because one fucking chick photoed a dude who was shaving in the women's locker room. Bit of a overreaction.
It won't depend on them to be happy. She's already happy with herself. She loves herself, but she's looking for a partner that she can grow with, have a family with, complement each other, really.
I think just you start off by saying having a secure
to 030.
Let me take a look.
Boy, they whoop that dude up for sure. If you want to get better at your to stay sharp all the time, I use it every week. Robbery's already in progress as we get started. See the guy in the blue shirt has a gun in his hand and is robbing everybody. Now what you're gonna see is the guy on the far left in the red shirt's positioning himself pretty well. He's gonna get patted down a little bit here, and when he feels it's time, he's gonna go for that guy's gun and get it away from him. It's actually in that guy's left hand, in the guy in red's left hand. Gonna see him go for it there, try to use it as a bludgeoning tool a little bit, and then right about now, he's gonna have a desk pop with it. Well, that's gonna scare everybody a little bit, but the beat goes on, and so now they're gonna grab a hold of this guy who was robbing them, and now the tables have turned, and he is gonna catch himself quite the educational beatdown. Now, the guy that had the gun took that gun out of here, and you can see that the guy has, like, it looks like a liquor bottle on him, and now they're trying to figure out how to keep this guy down, and they're going to give him a few here as he is still resisting them a little bit. So I'm going to speed it up just for the sake of time, and they are going to wail a tune on this kid who, had the temerity to point a gun at a bunch of them and try to rob him. So they got his feet out from under him here. Now they're searching him and trying to figure some stuff out.
Bitch.
Now I'm going to slow it down again just a second, because what you're going to see on the left, this guy comes with a big old rock, and now
What's funny is if this were Canada, they would all be arrested and this guy would get like no charges.
Now the guy in the blue shirt's gonna be like, okay, buddy, hey, give me that bill and let's get the heck out of here. We don't need to do that to him, because they've got him completely cowed here. But you're gonna see what happens here is dude's with a big rock's gonna come back, and he's like, nah, man, we're not really having this. Sneaks it over and busts him right in the back of the head with it. And you can see that guy's pretty badly hurt in his left elbow, and that.
Yeah, fucking, you deserve it, dipshit. What an asshole. Thanks for the donation, Barnacle Head.
attachment style. If you can start off there, everything else can be great. You can almost work on everything. If they're willing to talk, if they have that secure attachment style, then a lot of things are going to be easier. Now, transitioning to a man, what would you look for in a high value man? Is it 6 feet tall, 6 figures, and 6 inches? That's what I've heard. Is that what it is, or is there something more to this?
Similar in a way. He's secure attachment. He's good at communicating, which is secure attachment. He's able to communicate with her so she doesn't feel unheard. You know, when a woman feels unheard, she starts feeling unsafe. He makes her feel safe in all the categories. You know, he has it. If things fall apart in the family, he's got it. He's that leader. He can be a leader in his masculine and all that. That's really high value to me. When she feels.
The quotes were used as an argument for intent. You're glossing over an 84-page report of Israel then carrying out all the quotes you mentioned. And they only issued orders because of the merit of the case, unless you think they were wrong about Russia?
Well, in Russia's case, they were able to prove literally every fucking aspect of what would be constituted as a genocide. It's proven that they're abducting children. It's proven that they're targeting civilians and civilian infrastructure. It's like the amount of massacres that have been proven to have been taken place against civilians and that have been proven to be ordered from like Vladimir Putin himself. Like they were able to prove literally every fucking instance of, you know, what would be constituted as a genocide. And there's video footage of it all. There's transcripts. The Russian Federation is leaky as fuck, and they're able to get intel from the CIA proving like that they're all doing this, and these are calculated measures from the top down. They haven't been able to prove any of that with Israel. All of these like fucking accusations of massacres and shit have not been proven. Like the video we just fucking saw, the investigation by CNN. Like, this is the type of shit you see. Like, CNN will make a fucking claim that, oh yeah, there was a fucking, the Flower Massacre. They weren't able to show that the majority of the people who were even killed in that supposed massacre were shot by Israeli forces. They only interviewed like one fucking dude who claimed to have had a bullet wound. They're taking information directly from Hamas, who have proven to lie about these things. Hamas claimed that one hospital incident, 200 people died when it only happened to be 20 or 30 people who died. And it wasn't even an Israeli airstrike that caused it. It was a malfunctioning rocket fired by Hamas. So I don't know why you take their word for fucking anything. And the fucking eyewitness reporting and video footage that they were able to get corroborate the IDF almost perfectly. The only discrepancy that may possibly be there is with the timeline of events. The IDF claimed that they started shooting at like 4 minutes, 30 seconds or something, when that guy claimed it was at like 3 minutes or something. That was the only fucking possible discrepancy. So no, they had no evidence. The only thing that they really had to go on were the evidence of intent, where most of the quotes they used were misquotes, and only fucking 2 of them were actually were a true valid form of fucking evidence. And again, the one guy got fired. Thanks for the donation, Quest. Less is more, donate $2. What? My Negus random links. Let me see. Meek Mill yelling "Get up to the rock" is going viral.
Wait, get up! Get up! You got this shit! Get up! Get out the way!
Gonna knock Rock out. Get up, Rock. Get up. Situate him. Hey, Rock, kill him, Rock. Kill him.
That is a WrestleMania match. This is the fastest drone in the world, which can go from 0 to 200 kilometers in 1 second. That sounds crazy. Dude, is that real? That doesn't even look real. Dude, if that's real, that is insane. Well, that is very spiritual. Thanks for the donation, less is more.
New Fresh and Fit info just dropped. Please react, natty or not.
All right, so
Alright, I will react to that, and natty or not.
I wanna feel, wanna taste, wanna get you going.
I would say probably natty. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. So, the translation from Womanese is she wants a rich dude who isn't overly aggressive and emotional. That's it.
Yes, I'm sure all those people blew up themselves. And I'm sure all the aid trucks just magically started rolling in en masse after Biden ordered it last week. And I'm sure they don't let reporters in and check all the footage going in and out due cause.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Yes, if there are more aid vehicles that are sent into Gaza, there are going to be more aid vehicles. What point are you fucking making? Thanks for the donation, Quest.
Feel safe, and she can let him lead. She can put down her guards and not feel like she has to be so tough all the time.
Based on your answer, you have to read Hold Me Tight. Like, everything you're answering, it talks specifically about this book. I think you would absolutely love it. You'd probably learn a lot from it. That would be great. Now, we haven't really touched on much of the looks aspects of a high value person, or the financial aspects. This is usually what people talk about, because that brings me up to the next comment about
Oh, she already has. Look, when a girl fucking tells you that I want a man who will be there when, times get rough and there's like problems, she's just saying she wants a dude with money. Like, that's what they fucking mean. Money solves most fucking problems, all right? Like, they do. If there's a death in the family, guess what? Money solves that, because, somebody can die, but as long as you got money, you're fucking good. You're not going to run into issues with paying the rent, paying the bills. Like, that's a huge issue for a lot of couples. When girls just say, oh, they want a guy who's reliable, who, will be there when times get tough. Like, they just want a guy with fucking money who's, like, mentally sane, who won't, like, fucking get a shotgun and kill everybody. That's all they fucking mean.
Pergamy, which essentially is that women, more so than men, are always looking for that level up. Women on average date across or up, like higher value above them. Men oftentimes will date equal or slightly down. And so what's happening is most women are all trying to date the same pool of a 1% of men out there. The tall, good-looking guy who's nice, charming, makes you feel safe, makes a lot of money. There ain't a lot of us out there. I'm hoping I'm one of those. So I'm not very...
You know, it's kind of funny when people bring up this statistic like, oh, women are all after the top 1% dude. Ask any, like, hot girl how many fucking times she gets hit on in a single day. Like, every dude is after the top 1% of fucking women. It's just that they don't get them. And men are so pussy hungry that they'll settle for less. It's just sexual motivation. Women aren't as sexually motivated as men are, so they're willing to hold out for, you know, a better opportunity, but men aren't. So when they try their luck with a high value woman, you know, some like young hot girl that they want, yeah, they'll fail, and then they'll just try the next one down, and then the next one down, and then the next one down, and then, you know, they'll finally get some chick, and they're good with that. Like, that's just the dating strategy that men have. Women, they're not, like, most of them anyway, they're not like as hungry for cock as men are hungry for pussy. So they'll try their luck with a top 1% dude, they'll fail, and then they'll be like, oh, well, I'll just wait for the next opportunity for the 1% dude. Oh, I failed. I'll wait for the next opportunity. So, like, everybody's after, like, the best relationship partner they possibly can get. It's just that men are far more sexually motivated, so they'll just try their luck with fucking everybody. Women aren't as sexually motivated, so they won't try their luck with everybody like men do.
You know exactly the point and you're ducking. You said multiple times they weren't withholding aid. The ICJ issued more orders 2 weeks ago and Biden specifically said Israel has to change what they're doing with aid or else. But you say they didn't block.
Israel was not blocking aid, okay? They never did. The only thing they were doing was doing security inspections of aid trucks, which they're still doing, by the way. It's just that more aid is being sent. Thanks for the donation, Quest.
Very tall. But there's not many people out there that can meet these requirements. And so a whole bunch of girls are trying to get the same small amount of guys, and they're fighting for these guys, and they're thinking they're all jerks. I date this guy, he ditches me for someone else. But like, what do they expect? They're all dating the best of the best, and they're perhaps not the best themselves. Women oftentimes will overrate themselves. They'll be 400 pounds and say they're a 10. I don't know if you've seen these things. And so what do you think about female hypergamy? Do you think that women are always trying to look for the best, the next best guy that they can get, the best of the best?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course.
You would think.
Oh, yeah, of course. We're always wanting better. And that's also, I feel like, a part of us.
Dudes are always wanting better. Like, why the fuck do you think so many dudes fucking cheat on their spouse? And it increases in likelihood the longer they've been in a relationship, too. So, like, dudes are always wanting better, too. It's again, men are just more sexually motivated.
Wanting a leader, because a leader is going to be better than us. We need that. If we're better than the man, then again, we're back to feeling masculine and feeling like we're the boss and we're the man. So,
oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that is total bullshit. There's probably some like genetic factors where women aren't as like hardworking or motivated or something as men, but the expectation that women are given in society are way fucking lower. Women aren't expected to, you know, go to university, get a high education, become a doctor or a lawyer or something and make tons of money. They're not expected to fucking grind and, you know, like work fucking 80 hour weeks. They're not expected to, you know, make six figures. Like the amount of expectations that men have versus the expectations that women have, massively different. So there's probably a combination of genetic and social factors that impact this. Women just are terrified of having expectations put on them. When you have girls that are brought up to like learn how to do the dishes, clean clothes, oh, just date like a good guy who makes a lot of money. Like that's really the only expectation they're brought up with. When they're confronted with, oh, well, now you have to work like 60-hour weeks to pay the fucking bills. Oh, well, you have to like, you know, go to school, you know, get a job, do a career. Like so many women are fucking terrified of these sorts of responsibilities. And then you have like women like this who are like, oh, you know, I don't want to be in that position because like it makes me feel masculine. Like, no, you don't want to be in that position because then you have like responsibilities. You just want a fucking dude to take care of you because you're just a jackass. Like that's it. You are brought up to be a fucking jackass who expects other people to do work for you.
So in the way we want a man that's better than us in a lot of ways.
And so speaking from me as a man, I'm looking for a girl who's very attractive, who's very feminine, who's very nice, very kind, very nurturing, reassuring, doesn't combat with you, isn't argumentative, isn't trying to make you do things. Is absolutely not narcissistic, not controlling. I could list all day long of what I'm not looking for.
Yeah, it's masculine to be an adult. That's what she's saying.
So what can a man like me do, or any man do, to get somebody like you, somebody who's attractive, feminine, and so on? Like, what could the guys do? What could they work on? Do they just...
Why would anybody want to date a woman like her? She's a fucking single mom who used to do sex work. Now, I personally don't have any problem with women who do sex work. If some girl did OnlyFans or used to do porn or something, I wouldn't have a problem dating them. That's me personally. Most men do have an issue with that. I do have a problem with dating somebody who's a single mom. Why the fuck would I want to hook up with a chick who already has a kid? Especially when I don't want children either. Like, who the fuck wants to date this woman? Like, she's also claiming she's single. You're telling me a girl her age who's fucking single, who looks like her, would have trouble getting a dude like that? Nobody wants to date her because she's a single mom who used to do sex work. So, like, what is Greg talking about? How do we get a girl like you? A fucking girl who's in her 40s or something, who's a single mom? Are you fucking kidding me? This chick is not a high-value woman.
Need to develop a six-pack? Do they just need to read a bunch of books and be nice? What is the best advice you can get? Because most of my audience are men, 95%, probably similar to you, I would imagine. What can the boys do to get very attractive, high-value women?
I mean, I could list a million things too.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Be good looking, make a lot of money, and not be crazy. That's all you got to do. So if you have good genes, you make good money, and you're not crazy, yeah, you can easily get a 40-year-old woman who's a single mom.
Okay, we'll just start physically, because obviously that's always...
How old is she anyway? Somebody link me her Instagram. What's her fucking name? Jessica Cakes. Age. That's not her. She looks like she... Oh, whoa. 30. 1980... No, 1987. That's not... Okay, that has to be an old post. 1987, that would be 4 years older than me. So she's 37.
Question. He's got to take care of himself. You know, he's got to have hygiene. Like, he's got to have good hygiene.
I'm going to be doing a video on hygiene because, like, guys don't know about shaving and washing themselves appropriately. Like, they need the basics of, like, are we kids now? But yeah, I've talked to a lot of girls who are like, guys will smell. Like, what is wrong with it? Like, dude, like, fix yourself up a bit.
It's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know what happened. So that's important to have some good hygiene, like basic stuff. Clean up. Don't look like a hobo or something, dress accordingly.
Okay, this is beating around the bush. Look, when a chick like this is telling you, like, is asked a question like, what does a guy have to do to get a girl like you? Take baths. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, yeah, right. You just want a guy who knows how to take a bath. Uh-huh. Pink Badger donated $2. Here's a clip from Solo Leveling. Ninja Kamui, Kaiju number 8 Solo Leveling clip is from the show. The other two are trailers.
I swear it. Thing I do.
The show looks gay. Let's see.
Well, it's been 24 hours
Ninja
since he was
Kamui.
pronounced dead. Seriously think this dude came back to life?
Maybe.
Attacked your family? Hunt down every last one of them and make them pay. You plan on murder to be dropped into the spies ripped. Coming tomorrow. You'll tremble them.
This show also looks gay.
There are no crowds to cheer us on. What's
Emergence, but he's got his...
Other than Captain Nina Ashiro.
The kaiju.
Damn it.
All right.
Yeah, this also looks gay. None of these look good to me. Thanks for that donation, Pink Badger.
Like, those are all basic things, but sadly, a lot of men just are lazy. A lot of men just get lazy and they just don't do all that.
So how important is the physical appearance, like the gym or body? Like, could you date a guy who's overweight? Like, you're not going to be canceled if you say no. Like, it seems like a man can't say, I don't want to date.
Well, of course she's not going to be canceled if she says she's not going to date a guy who's overweight. Girls have that privilege.
A girl who's 200 pounds, but then the girl will say, well, I don't want to date a guy under 6 feet tall. It's like, well, I can't change my height. I'm a 5'6" man. I can't get taller. I can wear maybe shoe inserts or something, but I can't change that. So to me, if you're criticizing a woman for their weight, well, they can go to the gym and they can eat healthy. A guy can't get taller. A guy can't make his nose and lips look, well, I suppose you get surgery, but you can't just look hotter. You're born with what you got. You work with what you got, but you can have better muscles. You can eat better. You can do cardio. What do you think?
I think it kind of goes back to being a leader. If you're not taking care of yourself, how do you expect your woman to think you can take care of her? You know, it's just lazy to me.
Yeah, see, there you go. You got to read between the lines. How are you going to take care of a girl if you can't? So she just wants somebody to take care of her. She just wants some dude who makes a lot of money who will give her a cushy lifestyle.
You know, I know a lot of people are overweight these days, but could I date someone that's extremely overweight? If you're a little chubby, okay, you know, fine. But if you're extremely overweight, I just find that it's hard. It doesn't balance with my life because I'm very healthy. I like being active.
Uh-huh.
Myron from Fresh&Fit decided to try to address the situation again with Walter possibly knocking up that girl, and this just made things look even worse for Walter and the girl. You know, the girl he knocked up, don't get me wrong, she is awful too. Like on Patreon, I just got done covering her interview with Abba and Preach, which just made her look terrible. Like the more she talks, the worse.
The interview she did with Abba and Preach didn't make her look terrible. It made her... So I'm convinced she's not baby trapping him necessarily, but she clearly is taking advantage of the situation. She just found a rich idiot to get pregnant with so that she can, you know, get some money from him.
She makes herself look. Same thing with Walter. Like, these two are just so stupid. And I'm sure Myron realizes that and doesn't want Walter talking about the situation at all, because on the most recent episode, when Myron addressed it again, Walter wasn't even there, which still didn't help much, you know, because Walter ended up looking really pathetic here. I mean, if you're there, it would have been so embarrassing, because the angle that they took here, you know, now they're claiming that the girl is an escort and that she just scams men for a living, basically, which means, I mean, if that's true, Walter fell in love with an escort. He paid $15,000 for a bracelet for her. He took her to meet his mom. He was having unprotected sex with her, and now she might be pregnant. Like, that's the most pathetic thing I've ever heard. Like, honestly, I don't know if there's any coming back from this, because how is he supposed to do this podcast anymore? I mean, he has no right to criticize anybody or give any kind of advice, and this shit was so obvious right from the beginning. Like, a fan called...
He was dating some other chick who was basically an escort or a prostitute, whatever you want to fucking call it. She was on some sugar daddy website. She had a TikTok where she was showing regular $400 payments from dudes she was getting paid to go out on dates with. And he got involved with that chick before. The only girls he seems to be able to get are these chicks who are just money hungry, who, you know, are escorts or prostitutes or something.
Called in to try to explain it to him, which now has aged probably as bad as it possibly could for Walter. I mean, this guy hosts a Red Pill podcast, yet he fell.
She claims she isn't an escort. I don't know if that's true. Who knows if it's true? But in any case, like, this chick even warned him ahead of time, like, you're gonna get me pregnant, and then he just kept fucking busting inside of her. I wouldn't call it baby trapping, but she found a useful idiot.
In love with an alleged escort after everybody was trying to tell him that's what she is, and he's just a trick, but he refused to believe it. He was in denial, and now he looks like a complete idiot.
And honestly, bro, like, you're trying to put me in a box of being a simp. It was but there's no proof at all other than this comment you're saying has to be about me. You are trying to assume things without even being anywhere in the picture off of these random comments, and at the same time it's like, bro, you know nothing. So it's just like, bro, you can say whatever you want to say, bro, but I know what I did.
Back, but I'm making you look crazy right now.
No, you're not.
Put a one in the chat.
You have no proof at all of what you're saying. You're just claiming things like if you were here. You weren't even here. How would you know?
Put one in the chat.
And also, bro, yo, question for you, bro. What proof do you have that she's an escort?
Yeah, they took her pictures where she was bending down, having her ass out, looking like an online prostitute. And then you can claim that the escort paid.
Let me see if there's any evidence of this escort shit. I can't remember her name. Let me see. Fresh Baby Mama.
She checks every single...
What's her name? Daisy Chen. Daisy Chen, Fresh&Fit, escort. She is fine, dude. That is a nice fucking shapely rear end. Like, I'd be surprised. Like, I was assuming she did sex work. I mean, it looks like she did modeling. Like, she's getting flown out to Dubai and shit. She's meeting up with Fresh&Fit. The likelihood of her not doing something along those lines, like escorting, sex work, OnlyFans, shit like this, pretty fucking low. Like, chances are she has worked as an escort.
Itself was fake. Okay, fine. I mean, I don't believe it is, but let's say it is. She still took pictures that an escort would take. So she's still a hoe. And you gave a hoe a $30,000 bracelet, Fresh. So that's a hoe. You got exposed.
No, he didn't. Number one, he didn't buy the bracelet for her.
Here's where you're wrong.
According to her, he paid half the money for the bracelet.
One, she's on an escort, and two, I didn't buy a bracelet. So what are you trying to say, bro? Where's your proof? You have no proof.
Bro, you're Fresh. You're a trick, bro. You're lying, and everyone sees it. There's all ones in the chat, bro. I made you look crazy.
If I was a trick, no, hold on, caller. If I was a trick, I've been exposed months ago.
Your evidence is, yo, I saw pictures of her on an escort site where people clearly stole her photos and put it there, bro. She's f***ing Miss China, dude.
Yep.
Like, people are going to use her photo. Hold on. I'm telling you that it's very common for people to use women's photos on escort sites, okay? She's a Miss China, bro. She's obviously somebody out there in China. She's good looking, so they're gonna use that photo. That's number one. This girl comes from a rich ass family.
Yeah, bro.
You know how difficult it is to get a fucking visa as a Chinese national to come to the United States as often as she does? She comes from a very wealthy family, bro.
And now
that really doesn't matter. Wealthy in China means something very different than wealthy in the United States, okay? Wealthy in China means you're probably making like the equivalent of over 50K per year. In the United States. Like, that's what they'd consider wealthy in China. I think the per capita GDP of like the Chinese is like 1/10 that of an American citizen. So that does not mean what you think it means.
They've done a complete 180. I mean, you can't make this shit up. And they're calling the people that...
Like, by the way, I have friends who I went to school with and who have been in vegan activism, who got visas from China and moved to the US or Canada. Like... They don't come from wealthy families. They're wealthy for a Chinese citizen, but again, you're talking about somebody who's making like what would be considered average income here, like around 50,000.
Believe her lies.
Hi Browski. I did buy an escort once and he said he doesn't want to wear protection with me. It was a trick. On her page it specify he only fucks with protection, did finish inside her but no pregnancy as far as I know. We did do coke together. I love her.
Well, none of that makes sense, and I'm confused about what gender you're talking about, but thanks for the donation, Myron's baby mama.
Believe that she's not an escort. They're saying those people are just simps trying to defend her, even though it's exactly what they're doing just a couple months ago. So if it is true that she's an escort, then they fell for this shit too. And Walter is the ultimate simp here because he's the one that fell in love with her, introduced her to his mom, and now might be having a kid with her.
Why they got held at the airport for 2 hours. Now it makes sense why she has these 4 numbers contacting her. Now it makes sense why she's on video negotiating prices for certain favors. But then she's running around and telling Abba and Preach and all these other simps, oh, I'm not an escort, and they're believing it. Oh, okay, I believe it. Hey, man.
So he's admitting she's an escort?
We got the proof now. Hell, even I believe that she wasn't in the beginning. But, hey, man, like I said before, the truth will always...
Bro, so he's admitting fucking Fresh got tricked by an escort. Pink Badger donated $2. You could watch this video. This dude goes over the escort part and more, if I'm correct.
The Fresh...
All right, we'll watch that next. Thanks for the donation, dude.
It's come out.
And then he even admits that he believed her lies, which if that's true, then he needs to give up on this podcast because clearly he has no right to talk about this shit. If he couldn't even spot that girl, like fans are spotting it just from looking at social media posts. Like that's all it took. Anybody could have spotted that miles away. But somehow the red pill experts...
Well, like just by looking at her, I assumed she did some sort of sex work. Like if... I don't know how you could be fooled into thinking she isn't.
Completely bought her bullshit, and now they're all surprised, like, who could have seen this coming? No, she fooled me. I mean, you guys spend your whole podcast calling this shit out, but then when it comes to Walter's girlfriend, it's like, oh no, she's with him for the right reasons. What are you guys talking about? Even though apparently when she was on their show, she told them that she needs a man that makes at least $1 million a year to support her lifestyle. So literally all the signs are there. I mean, this was so obvious, but of course they chose to ignore it, and now look what happened.
On the show, I even said, they were asking me, how much money do you think a man should make for? Yeah, I told them $1 million. And that's my
$1 million.
That's my standards. He knows my standards.
And it's hilarious because Myron plays this clip as proof
yeah,
to show
definitely
like, hey,
not
she's
an
a gold
escort.
digger, even though this is something she said on their podcast. So again, this does not make them look good at all. I mean, it's just bringing everybody down.
Dude, this is just a self-own. Like, imagine getting fucking with an escort, getting her pregnant, buying her like a $30,000 bracelet, and being like, oh, well, she's a gold digger. Like, yeah, she literally said that.
You know, obviously she looks terrible here as well. Like, I believe she's a gold digger and probably was an escort at one point. Like, also they have some proof of that. Somehow they got this video where she's negotiating with a client, and I guess it could be fake, but it'd be crazy if that's what they're going to try to save face here, because also it does not help Walter's case either. You know, it's just making everybody look bad. So I don't know if they'd actually fake this video. And also, it wouldn't surprise me if she was an escort.
Video and audio. Run the clip.
If you call me an escort, prove it. Prove it.
Firstly, you take pay
No.
cash over.
No. You can transfer. Do you have cash?
I would prefer to pay you half first and then half after. It's never worked out good when I pay up front.
Why? I'm here. What are you worried about?
One time, I just did it all up front. I was pleasure. She said she came up 3 times and then she couldn't do it anymore.
So you're going to do it 10 times? 2 weeks?
I have been scammed in the past.
Yeah, but I'm a girl.
This is very likely fake.
I need to be more secure. If you're not making excuse, that means you are not willing to pay.
See, she's been running around saying that she's not an escort, etc. No, I don't do this, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know why they're making this point. This is just a bigger cell phone. Like, they're admitting that Walter got played by a fucking escort in the most retarded way imaginable. This girl admitted she's a fucking gold digger. She's looking for a dude who makes at least $1 million a year. She also warned him that, you know, you're going to make me pregnant. Still, like, busted inside of her. This guy was buying her these really expensive, extravagant gifts. And then he's like, oh, she just took advantage of me. Like, you have to be the most retarded person imaginable. Like, how can this guy give dating advice?
I mean, I'll let you guys decide what you think after seeing that, okay? We're going to keep going. There's more. I could end it right there.
And then he also has this police report that he shows, and he had it translated, and he claims it says that she had robbed somebody. And I also saw this story circulating, maybe it's the same person, but they claim they know her, and she had robbed them of several $1,000s, and she was a gold digger on seeking arrangement. So I don't know who's worse, her or Walter. I mean, these two both are terrible people, and they kind of deserve each other, but it just sucks there's a kid involved now. So also Myron was responding to questions during this, and of course people are like, dude, Walter is a complete idiot. Like, he's having unprotected sex with an escort. And of course he's like, yeah, he's stupid. I let him hear it, but we didn't know all the information at the time. You know, I even fell for it, so we didn't know, but
Pink Badger Doing Tellers, the video you're watching says the same thing as well. I don't know if you want to watch it, but he does reviews on Red Pill content. We'll take a look at it anyway. Thanks for that donation, Pink Badger.
thankfully we figured it out, even though they figured it out too late. I mean, this might be the worst case scenario here.
It makes him an idiot for having unprotected sex with her. Yeah, I ain't gonna, bro. I told y'all already at the top of the show that he's an idiot for that. You know, obviously this information came after the fact, right? We found out about this.
Well, at least he has the humility to admit his co-host is a fucking idiot.
Right after he already had been done with her and all this stuff kind of blew up.
I just still, it's just so baffling to me that a guy who does not have a vasectomy, who is being warned by this escort that, hey, if you keep coming inside me, I'm going to get pregnant. Like, we're having sex like every fucking day and you're busting inside me every fucking time. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. Gets her pregnant. And then he's like, oh, I can't have a kid. I can't have a kid. And then like accuses her of like baby trapping him. Like, what is going on here? Is Walter like on crystal meth or something? I just cannot fucking understand what's going through the guy's head.
And we got the real deal, but you know, thankfully he got rid of her before then, obviously not early enough, and he did fuck up. I'm not here to, you know, lie to y'all and say that he didn't fuck up. He did, bro. He did make a mistake here. But what I'm saying is, we need to look at the character of this woman. Is she actually telling the truth about this pregnancy?
And somebody else sent a message where they're like, damn, that dude who called in a few months ago, you know, that clip I played earlier in the video, they're like, that guy's looking like a genius here. I mean, he knew exactly what was going on. And of course, Myron's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that.
That Reddit caller who called a couple months and called out Fresh for his chick is looking like a god right now for being spot on about this girl. I don't recall that call, but that's fine. I mean, bro, yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I told y'all already.
And I think pretty much every comment on this podcast is negative, and they're all making fun of Fresh, because how could you not? And this is what their podcast is all about. Like, if this were some other guy on there who got themselves into the situation and might be having a kid with an escort, they'd rip him apart. You know, they'd make fun of him. They'd call him a simp. So Walter and Myron, they should not be surprised by this reaction, and this is what Walter deserves. So that's about it here. If you want more content from me, I just posted a new video on Patreon about Adam22 and how his whole career now is basically him just trying to embarrass and humiliate himself. Like, that's the only way he can get any.
It was a woman. Sorry for misgendering the miss. She was hot. She told me she only can come with me, her husband doesn't satisfy her at all. Then she was sending me kids with her kid. I think she wanted a long-term relationship. We did cook, she was immoral.
Yeah, lesson learned, I suppose. Thanks for the donation, Richard Side Chick.
The Fresh and Fit baby mama drama situation has gotten so out of hand, so damn crazy, and it's almost like you're legitimately watching a telenovela multiplied with The Maury Show with a little bit of sprinkled on top of on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. But I'm gonna have to say that I completely underestimated the impact that Fresh Prince CEO's actions have had on the Fresh and Fit brand. So much so is that they've recently created their second video combating the allegations against them. And my plan was not to continue covering the situation, to get back to the content as per usual, but there's so much that has happened over the past couple of days, and because of that, there's so many lessons that we all can learn. So let's get active. So since the allegations after the text message and the audio recording went viral, Fresh and Fit had a stream talking about the situation, and to summarize, and in my opinion, I thought that the stream was a complete clusterfuck. Namely that they had a divorce lawyer come up and try to defend Fresh or shift the narrative. Now, that's not necessarily what I had an issue with, but the divorce lawyer was telling Fresh to shut up and to be quiet, which I'm sure he had that conversation with Fresh prior to hopping on the call, and then Fresh just willfully admits this little gem right here.
But I will say this. I personally should not have nutted within a 304 like this.
Fresh, really? How the fuck you have your lawyer that is telling you to shut up, and here you go over here just completely self-snitching on yourself? Because
Yeah, that's going to destroy his defense. Like, if he tries to say it's not his kid, or, like, changing the dynamic, like, if he's going to say the dynamics of the relationship are different, or if he wants to claim he got sperm jacked or something, what an idiot.
to be honest, up until this point, I was legitimately thinking to myself, what if this chick had just completely made up this whole thing? Because in my mind, I'm just like, Fresh is smart enough not to go raw daddy and allege 304 the amount of times of what she claimed that he did. But right there, he's telling you, the viewer, and everybody that follows and listens to the brand, that do as I say, not as I preach, to think that a man that has a 1,000 body count is going raw into what looks like to me, by looking at her public image, her cosmetic transformations, and her Instagram profile, to be a 304 is completely absurd to me. He's got to have much more experience than that. By the way, watching the interaction of that divorce lawyer reminded me how sinister yet profitable the business of divorce actually is. See, men like him are trained at spinning narratives. So imagine if that lawyer was being paid to defend a woman that wants to exact revenge upon you in the time that it took you to gain all of your assets or the children that you have fathered within that marriage. You could legitimately be an awesome, great guy that goes to homeless shelters to feed children every day. But if they put you in front of that judge and you have a divorce lawyer that's unscrupulous in nature, they're going to spin you to being a worthless bastard that's never at home with his wife to care for her every needs while you're out wasting your life away in other people's homes. But I digress. But in ridiculous fashion, on that stream, Fresh just willingly participated that he doesn't practice what he preaches, implicating him in being a liar grifter that acts one way publicly, but privately, he can't even spell condom. And also, they mentioned me in the stream.
All right? Because a lot of you fucking haters, a lot of these YouTubers and fucking shit, and who was the quick ones to make a video? Anus and Leech right away?
Yeah, right away.
He still don't want to fucking box. Coward. Still making videos.
What's the name again?
These niggas, man. Like,
Oh,
no,
you don't know the
they pay y'all bills, man.
Yeah, MTR.
They pay y'all bills, you fucking losers, bro.
It's a clip from her. I made a whole
shit.
video. Like,
Holy shit, they don't know the full story, just commenting. And it's crazy to me because it's like, oh no, we're red pill, we're men. We go on the facts. Well, okay, y'all gonna believe some thought. Like, you're gonna just believe her. Like, the crazy part is, like, she calls, it's obviously premeditated. She releases it on Instagram. Y'all don't have any type of skepticism? Like, yo, what the hell? Anyway.
First off, kudos for the shout out, guys. But to be honest with you, I was surprised that I was lumped into the same bucket to who they have currently are in active war with, and it being Abba and Preach, because my position and the two videos that I uploaded previous to this is exactly what Myron's position is, and the position of the majority of the audience that follows them. At the time, I thought, because of this chick's actions, she appears to be a perpetrator. She appears to be a predator. This woman appears to be a lying sack of shit 304, but you, Fresh, a complete fucking idiot for going raw daddy in a lying sack of shit 304. But apparently, holding you accountable is what you have a problem with. See, my brand is a bit different than your brand, and I'm not going to sit here and judge another man in the way that he chooses to handle a situation at the point that he needs to be held accountable. But I prioritize in my life being accountable, telling the truth, and living my life according to what I tell my audience, what I tell the MT Army, because I understand the gravity of the situation that we are all in as content creators. I understand the importance to my fans that I live my life in how I preach because of the position of influence that we are all in, because I know that my lies will not only damage my own brand, but also the entire brand of men-centered content. So anyway, their content arch nemesis, Abba and Preach, and I actually think it's more specifically Abba, whose level of pettiness at this point dips down into the level of a 50 Cent. I mean, there's a petty award in 2024 that should be given. Abba should be at the top of the goddamn list. Dropped a new video, further painting Walter as a Pookie who lied to get those guts, and at the point, then a baby came into the mix. Then he changed his tune and ran for the hills.
When I first tested positive, and I was just kind of shocked because I just want to see where his head's at. And then I tried to like talk to him. I called him. I text him. He acts like nothing happened. Like, not my business. Like, woman, not my business. Deal with it. We're not together. Like, don't call me. Don't text me. Things like that. That was his behavior. I have a 37 minutes conversation between me and him. What if you think we don't keep the baby because we're not together anymore? Things happen, and I'm gonna take care of you. I'm gonna take you to the hospital. That would be fine. I would be okay. But he did completely the other way around. That just made me so sad. That just made me so sad. How can you you said you love me like literally 2 weeks ago and wanted to plan a future with me, and now You acting like this with me.
So at this point in the telenovela, you probably have two different schools of thought. Either that this woman really did love Walter, had genuine feelings for him, they communicated about having a baby, they sent loving text messages to each other, were buying each other gifts, he introduced her to his parents in Barbados, and she was really genuine about her feelings towards her. Or you have a scamming 304 who is not pregnant whatsoever, and this is simply a clout demon looking for a come up. But no matter what, out of either of those two scenarios or situations from this lovely young woman, you still have Walter that was weeks enough to spray baby batter in a young woman with whom he never wanted to have a baby with. Then to cap off, the novella Fresh and Fit came back swinging with the Uno reverse card, dropping a stream to assassinate the character of Miss Daisy Chen. Girl with pregnancy allegations for Fresh turns out to be an alleged escort predator with a fake name.
Well, no shit, Daisy Chen isn't her real name.
All right, so I can't play this one due to YouTube guidelines, but essentially it's a back of a young woman. You do not see her face, but it's a back of a young woman that is in an interaction with a man, and it sounds as if there was a solicitation to give her insides away for money. Now, what I will say is interesting about this, outside of her being 304 that I originally said in my previous video, is that this guy, who apparently buys S-workers, set up a hidden camera and probably also had on tape, more than likely unbeknownst to her, in very uncompromising positions. Myron then goes on to continue to expose her character for filth.
You guys might be wondering, Myron, do you got proof? Oh, I do got proof, actually. I got video. Here she is, taking the dude's money and doing what she's allowed to do. Oh. Hey, man. We have her ID, right? Here she is. But to show you guys that we know what we're talking about here, we actually have her, Jin Chen. That's your real name, by the way, Jin Chen. It's not Daisy. You run around calling yourself Daisy.
No shit. Why? Dude. Oh my god, they're stupid. What fucking Chinese person is gonna be named fucking Daisy, you idiot? Like, what?
But you're really Jin Chen. And we have the document.
By the way, I think Myron's setting this up like she's changing her name on.
Bro, like, no shit. How can they be that stupid?
Purpose. Most Chinese nationals that come over to the States change their name. How is it that I know that? But when I got my MBA, it was 50% international students and 40% of those were from China. They all changed their name. But let's review the allegations.
To show that you got fired and why you got fired. Again, this is all in Chinese. But guess what? My boy We Rise once again, aka Chinaman. He went ahead and translated for you guys. The employee seriously derelict in his duties or commits fraud.
Yeah, and that's the thing that happened. Like, they always change their name because, like, part of the reason is they don't want to have to fucking tell people how to pronounce their name like 20 fucking times. Like, so yeah, they'll change their name to fucking Martha or Howard or Ben or Daisy or whatever. It's just because their actual name is fucking hard to pronounce usually, and she's a fucking escort. Obviously, she's gonna go by an alias.
For personal gain, causing major damage to the company.
You stupid.
We have her ID.
Just real quick, too. If we all have friends like Myron, we all do whatever we want in the goddamn world. We'd always have someone willing to back us up. It's actually kind of endearing watching the amount of loyalty that Myron has to Fresh. Fresh is not even here for this conversation. It ended up being like an hour expose on this chick. I want to say Myron has done that because Fresh should no longer be speaking, because it's clear that he can't be trusted in front of a microphone when told not to speak. But I do think that it's relevant to bring up a shady past in defense of your friend or of your business partner. But it absolutely doesn't remove accountability from being a moron and skeeting in this chick.
By the United States law, he has to pay for the child support. How much money do you think a man should make for it? Yeah, I told him $1 million.
Walter apologized for everything and came clean and everything. Wouldn't you want him to be involved in like your child's life?
But why would you care about that?
Wrong answer.
Shouldn't the priority be to like build a healthy life for your future child? Shouldn't that be the focus?
You
don't care. You're not caring. The child right now is just a money ticket for you. You're not caring at all about the child. Why are you leaking
What is the money?
What is the child's
money? I agree.
I don't want to talk to you.
Leslie's gonna take a break.
She doesn't want to talk to him because he's exposing the truth. You say in one sentence, I don't care about the money, then you're saying, oh yeah, man's got to make $1 million a year.
That is to the words the exact same point that I made in my original video that you guys called me a loser for.
I don't care about money. I never said I don't, because on the show I even said they were asking me what, like, how much money do you think a man should make for it? Yeah, I told them $1 million. And that's my standards. He knows my standards.
Yo, imagine saying in one sentence, money doesn't matter to me. I'm not with him for money. But my requirement for a man is to make $1 million. You're beginning to see the ridiculousness that engulfs this young woman's mind. In this final image here, they're linking the tattoo on her shoulder from her fitness page with the tattoo on her shoulder from that original escort video. And it also looks like here, her face is right here. I didn't see this in the original video. But now that I'm saying this, mixed with this tattoo, damn sure it does look like her. But I'm an information guy. I'm a data guy, and I love statistics. So I deal in likelihoods and probabilities, and it is likely that Fresh was getting set up for the okie doke the entire time. And if this chick is an escort, someone who is willing to have S for the exchange of money, then I am more likely to believe that this chick is making this entire goddamn story up, or she was tricking Fresh for the okie doke the entire time. And there's the lesson for all of my G's.
She was not tricking him. If you look through the text message conversations that she leaked, she warned him ahead of time, and he just kept busting inside her. Like, it's like Abba Preach said, like, if I say, I'm gonna punch you right in the fucking face, so you better watch out, I'm gonna punch you right in the face, and you just stand there and you're like, okay, and then you get punched in the face. Like, that's not a sucker punch.
He's out there in the empty army that Fresh didn't leave nothing but the nuts hanging out over raw daddy as he releases seed deep inside her viscous innards multiple damn times, then none of this would be an issue for him or the Fresh and Fit brand. but he did. So whether or not she's being genuine or if she's a psychopathic 304 liar, he did when he didn't want a baby with her, potentially continuing the cycle of creating more single mothers. To think that he might have gotten a sex worker pregnant after all of the content that they've done on their platform is absolutely crazy. And it proves that no matter the money that you have within your bank account or the information that you spit to men within your life, that if you become weak around a pretty face, a soft ass, and luscious tits, it can all go out the window. Gentlemen, listen to me very closely. If a woman calls you and tells you that you got her pregnant, and you know that you let off in her multiple times, the response to that of getting an A is unaccountable as hell. Full stop. Don't put any other information within that equation right there. If you focus in on that point right there, then this is an issue of integrity. It's an issue of lying to your audience, and you're seeing the repercussions play out in 4K. Questions, comments, concerns? Y'all let me know what to do. Me able to tourism review.
Yeah, that was one of the dumbest situations I've ever fucking seen in my life, dude.
All right, Paul Saulino, I had to bring you back on, man, because you're irritating people with like flip-flopping on things and stuff like that. And now, like I saw recently.
So I cut out vegetables. I felt better on carnivore, felt even better when I reincorporated carbs. I want to stay, I want to stay cutting edge. Like what if I incorporate rice and I feel amazing? But I didn't just incorporate rice. I knew off the bat that brown rice had more arsenic, a heavy metal, than white rice. And when I went down the rabbit hole, I found a lot more about arsenic in brown and white rice and heavy metals in a lot of other foods. So I started with white rice. I started with organic white rice, and I got the white rice and I would rinse it 7 times, in the sink. I'm just rinsing the heck out of it. And then I would soak it overnight in warm water because I live in Costa Rica, so it's always in the 70s outside. And I put apple cider vinegar in there, and then I would cook it in the pressure cooker. And I still had like brain fog. I still didn't feel great on rice. And then I thought, okay, there's actually a significant amount of arsenic even in white rice. What we look at the literature when we see is about 1.5 times as much arsenic in brown rice as there is in white rice. And there is some evidence that you can mitigate it somehow. It's called parboiling, where you take the rice and it's dry. You've hopefully washed it. You kind of rinse off the dust off the rice. You rinse off kind of like the rice dust when you get the rice. And then you can parboil it. You can put it in a bunch of water, and then you bring it to a boil, then you dump that water out, hopefully with some of the heavy metals, and then you cook the rice. That can decrease the arsenic. But even when I did that, decrease the arsenic maybe 30%. It's still a good amount of arsenic in the rice, and we can talk about how much. Even when I did that, I still didn't feel good on rice. So that's my experiment, And people have said to me, would you eat vegetables again? And the answer is, yeah, I would eat vegetables again.
Aren't the most accomplished scientists and mathematicians all coming from China, and staple food of their diet is fucking rice? And then he's saying rice made him retarded. Yeah, sure.
I just don't feel good when I eat them. I'm not trying to be dogmatic, and I'm trying to always evolve the message and learn from these things. But